Hi there. This is a little sequence of a couple of exercises that I really like for assessing how the tension or tightness or lack of mobility, whatever you want to call it, travels from your shoulder down into your forearms and wrists. And then a way to get an experience of how you can use a little bit of active mobility in the shoulders and see how that affects the mobility in the forearms and wrists. So phase one, this is a forearm stretch that I got from Katie Bowman. You can do this on the floor, like a forearms and knees kind of position. But since I'm here in the practice room, I'm just going to do it at the wall. So I'll bring my elbows. So the backs of my forearms are against the wall and my elbows are shoulder height and shoulder distance apart. So you can check that just by grabbing your elbows if you want. And I want my forearms to be parallel, like railroad tracks, so not sort of sinking inwards. And I don't want my forearms to be parallel and my hands kind of winging inwards. So all that is parallel. And then what I want to try is to sense the contact of my elbows against the wall, keep that contact, and then bring the backs of my wrists into contact with the wall. This may be as far as you go. You may find that there's sort of the seesaw action. And so you would just stop and work here. If you've got both the backs of the elbows and the backs of the wrists, you can bring the backs of your hands to the wall, then the backs of your fingers and fingernails to the wall, and finally your thumbs to the wall. I can do this today because I've been practicing this quite a lot, but if I haven't been practicing this, it's sort of more like this often. So it's all good. So you would stay here, breathe, 4 or 5 breaths, notice what you notice. Phase 2. So this is a more active phase. It can be helpful to do with a prop. So you can use a yoga block if you happen to have one. If you don't, get creative. I have my Norton Grove Concise Encyclopedia of Music here, and I've got a couple of elastics to keep it together. And I'm just going to bring that between my forearms. So it's between the sides of my forearms. My palms are facing my face, not each other, and my forearms are facing inwards. And I'm squeezing into the book. So I'm squeezing inward, and then I'm just going to start to bring the book up. So I can pulse this a couple of times. What I want to be careful not to do is a back bend. So I'm going to keep my spine neutral-ish and just try to isolate the movement in the shoulder. So you'll notice this is basically the same position I was in on the wall, but now I'm making it a little bit more active and adding a little bit of load because I've got the book. So you can pulse up and down a few times, and you can hold if you want for a few breaths. Now, I don't know if you can see on the video, but I'm actually shaking. Like, this is quite a bit of work. So you do you. When you've had enough fun with that, go back to the wall and try the forearm stretch again, and just observe if waking up the movement in an active way around the shoulders gives you any more mobility through the wrists and forearms. Cool, huh? If you don't have a prop handy that you can use, another way that you can get at the same movement through the shoulders is just to bring your forearms together. So my elbows are at shoulder height, and then I sort of externally rotate and bring my hands apart. So my hands, my palms aren't facing each other. My hands stay facing my face, and my elbows stay, they don't drop down. Same thing, I'm not going into a back bend. So that's another way that you can explore that same kind of work, but without a prop. So give it a shot and let me know. I would love to know how this goes for you.